These are the most common things people get wrong when they're recording. Number one, if you punch in to anything, you're punching in on a vocal track, let's say, to get a lead vocal good, you know, you mess a note up, you mess a word up, you're punching in, before you're done, in other words, before you send it out to me to mix and master it, or anybody, what you're going to want to do is make sure you fade in and out of every single punch. That's your job. Because if you consolidate that file and send it out with all those punches and no fades, you're creating a disaster. It's a click soup you've created, basically. A click pop soup, where every single time before your phrase that you're saying starts, we're going to hear a pop sound. It's going to destroy everything real quick. So avoid that at all costs. Make sure you fade in and out. You could do it by hand if you want. You could batch fade it. You could cross fade it. Any of the above will work. Just the concept. Whenever you're punching, whenever you're fading, you're doing it when the waveform is at its quietest. And the waveform at its quietest is when the amplitude is at its smallest. So the line in the middle is zero, is nothing. When you see nothing there, that's where you're punching. Another thing people get wrong when it comes to this recording aspect. They record in a room with too much natural reverb. Reverb is one of those things that cannot be removed afterwards in a natural way. I've got plugins up the wazoo that will take off reverb, but let me just tell you, it's way better if it's not there to begin with. Way better. You can get a more direct, more clear, more present vocal. Otherwise, everyone would record in the shower, and then they would just put a reverb, de-reverb plugin on it. Oh, Waves de-reverb, it's great. It's okay. I wouldn't call it great. It's all right, you know? Don't have it to start with. That's the move, all right? So dry, dead room allows you to manipulate the sound way more. You could always make it wet. You could always put back that character of some kind, but you don't want it there naturally where it's bleeding through it and nothing we could do to dry this thing off. It's just soaking wet, you know, bad, no good. Another thing people get wrong, they hit their plugins at a random level. Like, you got to realize there's a sweet spot, and in order to achieve the sweet spot, you basically need to send the right amount of level in. It's not about the output. The output knob is there for a reason, and most people don't use that correctly. The output knob, I wouldn't say most people, just beginners. Everybody else knows how to do this. When you're adding a plugin, right? Every time you add a plugin that's adding to the volume, it's actually going to make what you're listening to sound way better to you. It's going to make it sound awesome. And that's not good because it's tricking you. What you really need to do is match the output volume to what's happening before the plugin. All right, so in other words, you're going to bypass the plugin and listen to the volume. Then you're going to turn on the plugin, which is everything running through. Everything else should be the same, but now you turn on the plugin. Now, set your output on that plugin to match what's happening when you bypass the plugin. So in other words, with the plugin on, it's the same volume as when you bypass it. Now you'll actually hear what the plugin is doing. That's the way to do that. And this works on every plugin, all right? That's the only way to tell if it's helping or hurting, is to be able to do that. Otherwise, you really don't know. Watch out for the amount of bass frequencies are hitting your song. So the way I'm going to tell you to deal with that is by finishing your mix in the car. Go to the car and listen to it before you're done. The car will be your best friend for low-end information. You got to get there so you understand what's happening in the car with the low end. All right? This is going to be the best for you. That's it for the moment. I'm going to keep it tidy. I don't want to go too wide on this list. So this is Evan Jaffe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stick around. There's tons more to come. Like and subscribe. Just remember, you guys got this. All right? Take it easy. See you in the next one. Evan Jaffe, Custom Cut Studios.